what are some tips that you would recommend for parents and youth coaches to develop talent in young people?
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, look, I mean, I think yeah, I think that there's an interesting, I think it goes back to the idea of like the information ecosystem. There is so much work out there, right? Like, and folks like yourself, Brian, and those of us who've spent time in the research on talent development, long-term athlete development, coaching, pedagogy, motivation, sports psychology, know that there's just this rich trove. And I think we have a real challenge right now in the world of community sports, school sport, of bridging these knowledge gaps, right? Where you have folks who go so deep into the work. And how do we get it out? You know, as an example, right now we're working with, we've developed a coalition to address the problem of ACL injury, which anyone who follows women's soccer right now is really concerned about. And what we know in this example is that the problem of ACL injury has been studied for 25 years in terms of prevention, how to prevent them. And there's actually incredibly rich, insightful data that's come from studies of ACL injury prevention programs that suggests that 50 to 75% of them could be prevented through simply 30 to 60 minutes of neuromuscular training, intentional, focused on landing mechanics, focusing on strength, hamstring strength, focusing on helping, build foundational movement patterns that are very basic. The problem is, and if you talk to these researchers like Holly Silvers-Granelli or Bert Mandelbaum, these are folks who are saying, we've known this. We've been trying to tell people about this, but it's not getting out. So in many respects, our coalition is really aimed at getting out what we already know, which is that there's a lot that people can already do. So I think I'm sort of using that as context to say that, look, we know that there's a lot of great insight for parents and coaches and teachers. We want to help get that out. I think the insights that we're most interested are going to be around things like, from a talent development perspective or a long-term athlete development perspective, it's going to be, the question of safety first, like how do we do no harm? So the questions of psychological safety, the question of establishing a motivational climate that is healthy, where kids are free to make mistakes. I mean, I think what lots of folks probably misunderstand is that you have to coach kids differently than you coach adults, even high school athletes. So I think there's a piece around how do we sort of create healthy environments where kids discover solutions on their own and are free to make mistakes. And we just sort of guiding them and nurturing them there. And I think there's a lot of work. I mean, I can go into specific ones if there's, particular elements, but I think there's just a lot of work out there. And I think we're trying to get as much of it out as we can.
Jay, I'm going to agree. I mean, physical education as a foundation in the U.S. is, not new. It's been around for, 130, 140 plus years. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, anybody that came out of this, schooling from there or has ever gotten into it knows that, hey, there's all this good stuff that exists. It's, getting it out there and then having a system in place or some sort of structures that then people have to do something with it.